good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. It is Saturday morning. It is week, I want to say 17. I forgot to check before I started the live video. You hear my daughter in the background. This morning we decided to sleep in, which is why I did not go live earlier this morning like I say that I will at 8:30 because I didn't have any clients today. So I was going to go out of town, but I decided, well, my plans got canceled. So I'm home with my little girl. And we decided to sleep in. We're just going to have a lazy weekend. Tomorrow we're going to the park. And so today we're just enjoying ourselves. All right. So the title of this week is Judgments and How They May Hinder You in Your Fitness Journey. So I want to talk about that because it is super, super important. So I hope that you are, good morning. I hope that you are having a wonderful Saturday so far. It's about, what time is it? It's 9:50. It's 9:50. All right. So let's talk about this whole judgment thing. So what exactly is a judgment? So a judgment is, yes. So everything, and I don't know why it is, but we don't talk a lot about our brain. The function of our brain. We don't talk a lot about the purpose of the brain, how our brain actually hinders us in our life, how our brain actually helps us in our life. And it is so important because our brain is literally responsible for everything, like everything in our world, in our life, in our physical existence. Like our brain's job is to keep us alive and to keep us safe. So that means our automatic, the things that happen in our automatic nervous system, like our breathing, everything, like our brain does everything, including forming judgments and forming thoughts. So literally a judgment is like a decision. It is a determination that we make based on information that is presented to us. And I have my notes here, so I may be looking down. So it literally is just our mind doing what it does, producing thoughts. And thoughts are just a response to the experience that we're having. So for example, I'm older, so I have like 65 degrees in my house because I like it cold. Somebody else might walk into this house. Like I've had some people walk into this house like, it is cold in here. So they walked into the house. They had an experience that their body was cold. And so they had a thought or a judgment that said, it is cold. Now, what if they went a little bit further? So if they said something like, it is cold, but then they added something onto that. They gave that judgment or that thought more credence or more power, and it determined things that they do. Like it really does determine things that we do. Like if you say that I am cold, it could say that means that I need to go get a coat. It could mean that I might need to go get a blanket. It could mean that Taisha needs to turn this air up. It could mean that Taisha needs to turn the heat on. It can mean certain things to you based on who you are, based on your makeup, based on your past experiences, based on your life goals, based on your values. So your judgments are just the thoughts that your brain form while interpreting what your experiences are. As we go through life, we interpret what's happening to us and with us. So your brain is going to kind of make evaluations based on what you experience. So those evaluations or judgments are all based on what you've experienced in the past. So if someone said that, every single time you're cold, that you're supposed to do this, like this is what you're supposed to do, that in that moment, whenever you feel cold, that's what you're going to do. So this all is going to make sense in the end. I promise. Just stick with me, okay? All right. So judgments are not good. They're not bad. They just are what they are. They're just our brain just doing what it's supposed to do. And sometimes what happens is that we have these repetitive judgments, these repetitive thoughts that keep coming to our brain, like automatic, we call them in my world, they called automatic negative thoughts. Ants. They're literally like ants. Like if you ever watch an anthill, like you'll see like the ants, they are like really determined beings, right? Like you'll see them, they'll go, they're just like, they're determined to get to their destination. They're just going to keep going and going and going. You can put something, I've done this really. You can put something in an ant's way, it'll just go around, but it's going to accomplish whatever goal it's determined to accomplish because it's determined. It has a goal, it has a focus, it has an intent. That's the way our thoughts are. They are there, and unless we direct our thoughts, unless we are aware and direct them, our judgments even, then it's going to accomplish something in our life because we are an accumulation of all of our thoughts, not just the thoughts, but we are an accumulation of all the thoughts that we hold on to, all the thoughts that we give credence to, all the thoughts that we think that are very weighty or important. We are an accumulation of all of those thoughts. And so that is why it is so important in our weight loss journey to make sure that we're mindful of the thoughts that we think. All right. And not only that, but we knowing that we are the person that in our world, we are the person that interprets. We are the person that assigns meaning to every thought that our brain establishes. We are the person that assigns it that meaning. So why is this important? It's important in our weight loss journey because, like I said, it affects everything. So like, what if you hold on to negative thoughts around your journey? Like, let's say, for instance, you're just getting started in your fitness journey. And let's say, for instance, you are not very motivated. Like, a couple of weeks ago, when I first started my Be Amazing Chronicles, I wasn't motivated at all. Like, I did not want to go, period. Now, what if I would have judged myself very harshly? What is that going to do to my psyche? What is that going to do to my motivation? Number one, if I'm judging myself harshly because of my motivation, because of my lack of motivation, that doesn't improve my motivation because it may make sense to me that if I'm not wanting to go, I might judge myself as lazy. I might judge myself as less than. I might judge other people as better than. And that makes me not want to, good morning, that makes me not want to actually go. It makes me not want to actually experience the good stuff that comes when you actually take 2 steps forward, right? So that's why judgments are important, even like with our body image. Like with our body image even. So if I'm looking at my body, before I go there, let me just say this. I caught myself, you guys, when I was doing that Hello Body workshop the other day when I was preparing for it I think it was last week. I was reading through my slides and I had a judgment in there about my kids. And this is a really, really simple one. It's real subtle, but it's still a judgment. And I removed it from my slide. So in my slide, I was talking about who I am as a person. And my last sentence was that I am a mommy to 2 beautiful children, Kingston and Olympia. Now, you would think, okay, yeah, they are beautiful kids, right? Yes, they are. However, why was that important for me to say in that moment? That is a judgment. Someone's, like, you determining whether or not someone's beautiful, not beautiful, worthy, not worthy. That's all a judgment. So I removed it, and I removed it because, like, what if I determined that my kids are not beautiful? Do you see how that could all affect how I may parent them? It may affect how I see them. It may affect how I interact with them around other people, all because of my judgments, all because of what I've determined as weighty or what I determine as important in my world. So I remove that because I want them to be seen as more than just their beauty. So that's just obvious, but that's important because, like, let's say, for instance, you have lost weight. Like, a lot of us have already lost the weight and we're looking at our bodies. Like, I'm looking at my body, like, every time I do this, what is the judgment that I assign to the thought that I think about this loose skin, these triceps? Like, what is the thought? What is the judgment? If I'm saying to myself, this is ugly, that's a judgment. If I'm saying to myself that compared to other people, this is something, that's a judgment. And that will determine how I view, how I value, how I determine my own, how I determine my own beauty even, how I determine my own love for myself. And so judgments are everything in our world, and not just our weight loss world, but in our world in general. Like, what do you say to yourself? How do you judge yourself? Is so important. That says that is deep. So much power in our words, and our blessings come out of all, and our biases come out all the time. Exactly, our biases come out all the time. So, what are some ways that you can become more aware of your judgments? How do you know when you're being judgmental about yourself outside of just getting a therapist, which I am one? And if you need help, you can go to www.rehabilitateyourlife.com. You know I have to plug myself. That's right. Say, go ahead and hire your mama. All right. So one of the things that is really, really important when it comes to banishing judgments is becoming aware of them. And how, so in terms, that's why I really, really enjoy practicing mindfulness. And mindfulness is thinking about what you're thinking. Just thinking about it. Like, we don't think about what we think at all. We just allow our mind to just kind of roam free. We just let it go. And we don't realize that our mindset affects what we feel, and our feelings affect what we do. So then we have these behaviors that we don't want to be having, but we always try to address it from the behaviors and not from the fact that they were caused by a feeling. And the feeling was caused by a thought. And the thought was caused by, as you said, a bias, or and we're going to get into that in a second. So step number one, if you want to kind of banish your judgmental thinking, is becoming mindful and becoming aware of them. And how do you become aware of your judgments? Is by your body. Your body will always tell you the truth. Your body is like a alarm, like a smoke alarm that alerts you to the fire. If we're going to go with that metaphor, your body alerts you to the fire that's going on in your mind, to the dangers that are happening in your mind. So if you want to become aware of what your judgmental language is, pay attention to your body. Your body will tell you if you're feeling sad. Your body will tell you if you're feeling anxiety. Your body will tell you if you're feeling not depressed, but humiliated. Your body will tell you, like any emotion, your body will tell it to you. So you pay attention to the sensations that are going on in your body. And you begin to become aware and associate that, oh, when I'm feeling nervous, this is what happens in my body. When I'm feeling sad, this is what happens in my body. And then any time that you're in the world and you begin to feel those bodily sensations, you know, oh, fire going on. There's a fire in my mind. There's something going on in my mind. There's a thought there. There's a judgment there. There's a bias there that I need to attend to. So step number one, become acquainted with your body, because your body is always going to tell you the truth about what's happening in your mind. So that's step number one. Step number two, once you become aware of your sensations in your body, that alerts you to your thoughts, right? So then we got to start figuring out, okay, because I know that every thought, we talked about this earlier, that every thought that I have comes from some type of experience that I've held on to. So like we said, I went into this room, it was cold, and I told myself this. Well, what do I think about it being cold? What are my fears? What are my concerns about that, right? So if you want to get to know why you're judgmental, you got to kind of dig deep and ask yourself, well, when this happens, why is this a concern for me? Where does that fear, where does that concern, where does that judgment come from? What foundation or root does it have? Does it come from the fact that when I was young, I got picked on about this? Does it come from the fact that I think that, because of popular culture, that our bodies should be a certain way? Does it come from the fact that when I was, younger, someone always said this to me when I did this, and it made me always have this thought that this is how it's supposed to be? Where does it come from? And when you find out where it comes from, you can ask yourself, is this realistic? Is this realistic for me? Is this a realistic expectation that I have, that I hold on to? Is this something that, she is so funny, you guys. Is this something that is needful or helpful in my life? And if it is not, then we have a responsibility. That's a step 3. Step 3 is our responsibility is to reframe or adjust our bias, to reframe or adjust our thoughts, our expectations, what's realistic for us. Like that all comes from our values, how we're made up, how we grew up, yes. But we can change it at any time if we decide to. We can change, because if it doesn't work for you, you can change your perspective day by day, moment by moment, by making a different decision. You can change your perspective. And that's how you get rid of the judgments. Right, Olympia Grace? Yep. All right. Last one. Something that you can do. When you feel that judgmental language coming up, validate yourself. Validate yourself, meaning, what is the concern? What is the fear? Validate the fact that it came from somewhere from your past, which means that it was serving you at one time in your life. If I learn that my judgment, like let's say, for instance, I hold a judgment that I'm supposed to be a certain size, or that I'm supposed to grind. Okay, this is a good one. I'm supposed to grind it out in order to lose weight, because I learned that as a kid, that people that are successful, they grind, but that's not helping me right now in this moment, because when I'm not grinding, I'm judging myself. And I'm being very harsh with myself, and it's making me not have motivation. It's making me depressed because I'm not experiencing what I want to experience. It's making me have anxiety. It's making me feel overwhelmed. So that's not working right now, but it all comes from the fact that that's the lie that I bought into. That's the lie. So I judge myself based on that. So validate, and that worked for me at one time. But now I get to validate the fact that in those moments before, that made perfect sense. In those moments, that worked for me in those moments. Yeah, it made sense because I was using that and it helped me. So validate the use of the judgment, validate the function of the judgment, and then forgive yourself for believing it. Then ask yourself what you now want to believe, what you now want to experience in your life, and then shift your focus to the now. And shift your validation to the now. Yes, I understand that, at one point in time, grinding was needful for me in those moments. I honor that. In this moment, I no longer need to do that. I can let go of that. I can release that. And I can adopt a new way of being. And I allow myself the grace to do that. And so just validate yourself into freedom. Accept yourself into your freedom. Accept and embrace where you are so that you can transition to where you want to be without judgment, without labeling yourself. And that is the healthy way to transitioning. So those are my thoughts about judgments and how they can hinder your weight loss. If you have some concerns about that and you want some support, I want you to make sure that you hit me up. You can slide in my DM or you can call me. You can go to my email, send me an email, however you need to do it. But those are my thoughts. I want to give a quick check-in because that's what this is for, my Be Amazing check-ins that will be happening until October. So this week, I still am not getting on the scale because it is not helpful. I judge myself when I get on the scale and I don't see that number going down. I judge myself and I say things, since we're talking about judgments, when I get on the scale and I don't see that number going down, I have a difficult time saying to myself that I'm making progress because of the thoughts that I think, because I have this thought that the scale means success. when that is not actually true, because it is really how your body responds to your training, your conditioning, that really does mean success. Success means your happiness, your peace. It can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't necessarily equate to the number going down on the scale. And so I am working on checking that within myself, which is why I'm not getting on the scale. But you can literally not lose much weight at all and your body changes drastically. But if you're looking and you're tying your success to a number on the scale, that is something that is going to hinder you, because then you're going to say, I'm a failure. You're going to put all these labels on yourself. I'm a failure. I'm not making progress. I'm doing this. I'm not doing that. And you're just going to give up. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. So I'm trying to get away from that scale mentality, which is why I'm not getting on the scale. I'm looking at how I feel, and I'm determining how I feel and associating that with my success. So I'm not getting on the scale. So I can't give you a number in terms of how I'm doing, but I feel great. I look great. So I think that means I'm making progress. I've been going to the gym. Oh, so I thought that I would be able to drop my child off to, yes, thank you. I thought that I would be able to drop my child off to Child Watch at my new gym, and that is probably not going to happen because she's too young. They said that you have to be about 3, but I'm going to take her because they said to bring her and see how she responds, because sometimes the person that is manning the kids' place at the gym may allow her to come in. And depending on if she's a good child, and that's a judgment, because what do we determine as a good child? What do we determine as a good child? That is a judgment for my other page. So we're not going to get into that right now. All right. But they said to bring her because if she's not going to cry and she's not going to be a big distraction, she's not going to be too needy, then they may allow her to come into the children's place. So I'm going to try this week. This week I wasn't able to do that because I was like, it kind of sucked. And I was like, they're not going to take her. And so I'm going to try it this week and see if they actually will take her so that I can get more workouts in. Because if you don't know, we decided to pull her out of daycare and we are quote unquote homeschooling her now, her dad and I. So she's with me probably about 3 days, about 2 days during the week. She's with me on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and every other weekend. He has her on Mondays and Thursdays and Fridays and every other weekend. So on the days that she's with me, I may not be able to get my workout in. I may have to just try to do something at home. I got to figure that out because I was just like really happy and excited because I was like, oh, I can just take her to the child watch. But then when I tried to ask him about it, they was like, nope. She can't go. She's too young. So we're going to see how that works. The only thing that makes me look at the scale is when my knees start hurting. That's funny. Like, you know, what have I done? Like, don't hear what I'm not saying. Like, the scale is okay. The scale is just a measurement. The scale is just another measurement. Like, just like how I say, I look at my clothing, like how, if my clothing can fit, I may, do a tape measure. Those are other measurements, right? But neither one, all I'm saying is not to judge yourself harshly based on the number that you see on the scale, based on if that number does not move, based on the fact that, you know what, if you check yourself multiple times in one day, that number could change drastically. That number could be like 5 and 10 pounds difference in the same day. Did you gain 5 or 10 pounds in the same day? No, you didn't. It literally is just your number based on gravity. That is all the number is on the scale. It is not that important. It is not that important. And we magnify the importance of that number when it's not that important. And to be honest with you, let me tell you something. When I can be 200 pounds, which is considered obese for my height. And I look like I'm 150 pounds. So don't trip on the number that's on the scale because it is not that serious. But we trip because we have been programmed by society that that number is so important when it really is not. It is your health. It is your conditioning. That is the most important thing. So don't trip. Scale-free mentality. I'm trying to get there. I ain't totally there. I'm being honest. I am not totally there. I am still trying to get there, but I am aware. We talked about mindfulness. I am aware of when I trip. And when I trip, I know I need to get myself right. And I tell myself, Taisha, calm yourself down. All right? Calm it down. And I'm able to do that most times. Sometimes I need help too. And I talk to people. I talk to my APs and they help me to get myself together. So, all right. So those are my check-ins for this week. Oh, my eating. Y'all, my eating wasn't the best this week, but it wasn't horrible either. My eating wasn't the best, but it wasn't horrible. I can do better. I am going to meal prep this week. And I meal prep because I find that I am at my best when I have prepared my food for the day. I'm not winging it. I find that I'm at my best. So that is why I meal prep. And that's why I meal plan. Because I find that I'm at my best when I do that. So you don't have to do that. If you don't like it, don't do it. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. It works for me. And I'm someone that does not mind eating the same thing all the time. That's just me. That is literally just me. And I know that I look a hot mess today, and I'm okay because it is my weekend. I ain't seeing no clients. I'm going to try not to do any work. I may do a little bit of work, paperwork, but I'm going to try not to do much. I'm going to spend time with my child, and I'm going to enjoy my weekend. I'm going to be lazy. I'm about to turn this TV on, and I'm going to just watch my DVRs, my court TV, because I love court TV. I may watch a Netflix. I may Netflix and chill this weekend. But I'm going to enjoy this day. Tomorrow, if you are a mom, a single mom, or a mom, period, and you want to have some fun with the kiddos, we are going to meet up at Cordelia Park tomorrow at 12. So for 2 hours from 12 to 2, we are going to go to the park. They have a splash pad and they have a pool. So if you want to go there, 12 o'clock, meet us there at Cordelia Park if you want to go. And then if you are I'm in North Carolina. If you are a Triple P provider, which is the Positive Parenting Program, and you want some accountability, I am hosting a weekend, because they don't ever do weekend peer support. So if you want some peer support for Triple P, we're doing level 4 peer support on tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And so that's what I'm doing tomorrow. So I'm doing a little bit of work tomorrow. Today, I am just chilling. So I don't care. I came on here looking myself. And it's all good. All right. So you said I want to do less bread and less coffee. I want to focus on some anti-inflammatory foods. I love that. So anti-inflammatory foods, what would those be? So I know that that's not dairy, but you're still vegan, right? Aren't you still vegan? I thought that you're still vegan, but I guess vegans can eat inflammatory foods as well, which is interesting. I can't let go of the cheese still. And I was looking at, I may repost this picture, but I was looking at that old picture of myself when I had that surgery and I had all those staples in my stomach and I had the drains in my side and I had this, the surgery pads on my stomach as well. I was looking at that picture early this morning, like, this is one of your whys. This is why you are doing all of this. This is why you're giving attention to your body, because God saved your life. They started removing organs, y'all. And once they start removing organs, that's when you know you got to change your life. And so that's what I did. I started changing my life. I'm like, I'm not going to kill myself with my fork now. So, all right. So you said caffeine, drink. Oh, okay. Yes, you do your best. Very good. I can't even say I do my best. I'm just eating the cheese. I don't even try anymore. I need to get my life together. No, cheese is so good. All right. So thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, Gambia, Africa represent. Hello from Gambia. We're not requesting, we're not doing all that. But all right. So that's my check-in. Week 17. Week 18, we'll see how it goes. We're gonna have a good week 18. We're gonna have a good week. We're gonna do all the things that I know to do. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye bye.